Hey everybody, welcome to episode, was this 111? Sorry. Um, I think I'm going to keep going just with some free thought stuff here. I was going to review the Billy Squier album. I can't remember the name of what the name of it was tell you at the top of my head. Oh yeah, Don't Say No. You know, the one with the stroke on it and In the Dark and Lonely as Night. By the way, Lonely as the Night is probably one of the best rock guitar intro riffs ever. um, but anyways, that's about all I could. I mean, there's some stuff I could say about it, about the time period. Um, you know, but I realized, you know what I'd rather do? I'd rather just bitch and complain about stuff. so, um, so what I want to talk about today is, this has been like a long time. This would be a long time coming video. Something I've had on my mind for a long time, but didn't necessarily equate it with making a video about it. But I wanted to kind of address it because I guess this would be a good enough spot. Well, kind of bankrupt for ideas and kind of bankrupt, for money. Like I said, I'm not out buying everything in the world now. I'd like to take some time to kind of reflect on some things that I have been thinking about for a while, and I'd like to share with some people and get their kind of their thoughts on it. And this pertains to not having money. Now, here's the thing. My thing I want to talk about is there doesn't seem to be anywhere to go or anything to do. Maybe there is where you live. Maybe you live in some metropolitan hubbub, where there's all kinds of things to do. But, I'm just talking like just out in the regular suburbs, or regular America, not near a big major city where there's lots of things to do. I'm talking like, like my hometown of Rochester, even out here in Bay City, which is north of Rochester. Towns like that. I'm not talking about, I'm not even talking about like Detroit, as far as Michigan goes, Detroit or, Ann Arbor or Lansing. Sure, there's things to do there, and places to go to kind of see stuff. But here's the thing. I mean, even if I was to live in Rochester still, like I said, everything that I loved to do that didn't cost really any money is gone. It just doesn't exist. There's a couple of real, base level things like the park is still there, but it's not the same park. There are a few things like that. All the malls are gone. And that, I don't want to make a mall video. Hey, we missed the mall video per se, but that's one of the big ones, is the malls being gone, or just not really, what they used to be, even if they are still there. Back in the day, and this is before having a car. This is before, and even not even having a car, even being, having a car too. As far as money, like, oh, there's nothing to do because I don't have any money to go do anything. I remember not that long ago, back when I smoked, it's like you don't even have enough money in your pocket to go buy a pack of cigarettes, so you're scrounging for bottles, around the house, and scrounging for bottles to go buy a pack of cigarettes, because you're fiending for a cigarette, and you got like $1.10 in your pocket, and cigarettes are at the time, $3 or $4. I don't know what they are now. They got to be almost $10 now. It's insane. But that type of thing. But there are still things to do, because if you were going to drive somewhere, as long as you had gas in the tank, and again, same thing. I remember times, when I just got my driver's license in high school, and I borrowed my dad's car, and I remember, there was no gas in it. So, my buddy said, hey, let's go meet up at such and such place. So, I was like, oh shit, I don't have any gas in the car. And you'd scrounge together bottles to get $5 to go to go put some gas in the car, which at the time, $5, would give on that Mustang that my dad had. It would maybe a quarter tank, um, you know, quarter tank, maybe a little bit over a quarter tank, and you could get to wherever somewhat close close destination. Whether you wanted to meet I remember meeting my buddies once at a mall just to hang out, and and scrounging together $5 and and change and bottles just to get gas, put gas in the car, and take it. Just drive up to the mall and meet my friends. I don't know why they couldn't just come pick me up, but I guess it was neither here nor there. So, I mean, like I said, it's not a matter of it's like, oh, well, there's nothing to do because you don't have any money to go do anything. Well, that's true to a certain extent. Yeah, I can't go out and go to a concert, or I can't go to, go out to eat some fancy place, and drop $100 on dinner, for me and somebody else. Yeah, I mean, sure, yeah, a certain amount of money, you need things to do, but like I said, it wasn't that long ago, too. I mean, maybe in the last, I'm going to say prior to being married, back when I was single. Like I said, or even just take it back, going back when I was a teenager, and there wasn't really that much of a difference between those times. So let's take like the early 2000s, or maybe go back a little bit into the 90s, and then let's go back into like the late 80s, or even into the mid 80s. Yeah, there were just things to do. I mean, I work at home, this is my office where you're seeing this is where I do my work. But let's just say hypothetically it's summer, and you're still in school and you don't have a job. And you don't really have a job, so you don't have any extra money. You might have $5 or $6 on you. Back in the late 80s when $5 or $6 was like having like maybe $20 today. So you have $25 in your pocket, and you don't, it's a whatever. I guess if it's summer, it'd be any day of the week. But you're bored. You can only read so many comic books. You can only watch so much TV. You can only do so many things. You only, at the time I drew, or played guitar. I mean, today you can only do so many things. So you're like, I need something, and it was readily easily to do. I mean, I could get on my bike, I could ride up to Winchester Mall. Maybe if I had enough money, I'd see a movie, but I didn't have to see a movie. I could just go to the bookstore and spend an hour or two in the bookstore just looking through books, or run over to a music store and just, spend an hour or two just looking at music in music stores. Sure, you can do all that stuff. And here's the problem is you can do all that stuff now on the internet, fine. I could look up, if I want to go record shopping, I can go on Amazon or wherever and go record shopping. Or if I want to look up books or something, I could go on Thrift Books, or Amazon or blah, blah, blah. But, there's no, I'm sitting here in my bathrobe, you know what I mean? I'm taking a break. I'm actually doing some work right now, but I'm taking a break. But I decided not to doll myself up for this video because I really just don't really care anymore. I put my hat on, kind of, I said, breaking out on the top of my forehead, so I've been putting my hat on. I had to dig out my winter hat because it's starting to get cold. It's almost Christmas time here. Or actually it's almost Thanksgiving, but it's pretty chilly out. So I've been digging out the gloves and stuff like that. But yeah, I gotta say, it's great. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world as far as working. Well, I would trade it for certain things, but I wouldn't trade working from home rather not than going to a day-to-day grind a lot better, right? However, that said, you don't realize when you're at work if you're on a day-to-day job, unless it's like a very isolated or solitary work. But if you're at just a normal job with people there and things, right? You don't realize how much you kind of how much human interaction you get while you're at a job, even if it's a shitty job. You know, even if you're sitting there working at some store, behind the counter selling widgets, or you're at some restaurant, cooking or washing dishes or waiting on table or something. You're around people, and and you're on coworkers, and you're on people you could talk to, different people, not just one or two people. I'm sure, yeah, you can call your buddies, or you can, hang out on Discord and talk and stuff like that. But I mean, you're actually there in person with people, and sometimes you're forced together with people to talk to that you probably wouldn't talk to unless you're in that situation. I mean, how many times have you worked a job where you're like, okay, well, I've got like 3 or 4 coworkers. I wouldn't hang out with these people outside of work, but I'm here with them now doing a job together, and I'm forced to interact with them and talk to them. It's kind of forced to to be social. And at one time I was very social. I could do that all the time. And I really miss I miss a lot of jobs. I gotta say, I really miss, even though it paid nothing and I was a student at the time, I really miss working in a college library. I don't know why, that was such a nice job. I really liked it. It was just, I felt so comfortable there. It's almost like I'd rather just go in there and work. If I didn't have homework to do and I didn't have a class to be to, or my buddies, if something wasn't going on, I would rather just go work at the library and just hang out there, maybe talk to people, that type of thing, make money at the same time. It wasn't really a very taxing job, so, it's pretty, that's why I didn't pay anything. It was also a student job too. And I would have, if they would have offered me a permanent position there after I graduated college, I probably would have stayed there for a while. I probably would stay there almost indefinitely. You know what I mean? It was just one of those kind of jobs. It was comfortable. You liked it. You enjoyed it. I don't know about now with the college campuses being weird now with all the woke idiots and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be as much fun. But we're talking like early to mid 2000s where things were a little normal. And I was an older person then. I mean, I was 10 years out of high school and went out to college, so I was older too. No, there's just not a lot of places to go. It's just like, I mean, literally, for me, on a weekly basis, right? If I'm not working here, my son's not here, then the only two places I really go to is the the grocery store, which is right across the street. And that's like, woo, it's the highlight of the week, as I'm going to the grocery store. I'm getting out and seeing humans, you know what I mean, and getting out and being outside of your apartment for, 20 minutes, half an hour. And it's just like, seems like the highlight of the week. I mean, sometimes I ride over to the it's colder now, so it's harder to get around. But I'd go over to the record store, and like I said, that's one of those last havens here in my hometown, or not my hometown, but my town I live in now, where you actually can go somewhere. You don't necessarily have to buy a record, but you go look at the records, you go talk to the people that own the place, talk to customers that are there. People seem like they want to talk when they go in there too. Everybody's constant talk shop, and that place is nice. I kind of, even though the Dungeons and Dragons things got kind of going hanging out on once and one night a week down to play Dungeons and Dragons at the game shop. I gotta say, I miss the human interaction, even if some of it was boring or some of the people were weird, or I didn't really have much fun necessarily playing the game. I just like to get out of the house and go somewhere and be around humans for a few hours. It's that I guess I could go down there again. I feel kind of weird, kind of not showing up after a certain amount of time and then just showing up. And I don't even know what they're playing right now. I'd have to go down and talk to the people that work there. And I even miss that. I miss just going down and talking to the people at the game store. That was fun. yeah, it just seemed like, I don't know. I think maybe this, like I said, this is a terrible time of year for me because I do not like the winter. I do not like the holiday season. Bah humbug. um, I don't. It's a bad time for me, and every time this time comes around, unless I can preoccupy myself with fun things to do or places to go or people to see, I just get really, really kind of down in a funk. I sure it's seasonal depression, whatever you want to call it. But regardless of what it's called, it's not like just naming it is going to make it instantly go away. And not just going to the doctor and say, hey doctor, give me some drugs to dope me up. That's not the answer either. I think the biggest answer to when you're in a funk like this is to find things that you enjoy to do. And the thing is, and get out of the house and go do something. The problem is, like I said, there's not a lot of places to go. I mean, within walking distance or with riding bike distance or whatever. Remember, my car doesn't work, so I don't have a operating vehicle at the moment, so I can't go very far. And it's chilly out. I don't want to go and ride my bike too long in the wet, in the cold. But even though I used to ride my bike as a kid, I'd ride my BMX bike through the snow to go up to the mall. And not to say I won't do that now, but there's nowhere to go. The mall is all the way on the other side of the river, across the bridge, and I don't like walking across or riding my bike across the bridges. I don't know, I've gotten weird in my old age where I just don't like. I don't know. It's call it a phobia. Call it, I don't know if it's the heights of being up high on the bridge because I don't like heights, or it's just I have like a weird fear of the water too now, which is weird. Not like a pool, or not even like a beach, right? But like walking across the water, like the river water and stuff. I don't know. It's got kind of a weird kind of hang up with that. And it's. Even or a bike ride, it's kind of a haul to go across the bridge and go over to the mall. But the thing is, there's nothing there. The mall is it's one of those quote-unquote dead malls. There's a video, somebody does dead mall videos on there, and they just recently were in this area, and they did all three malls. They did the Saginaw Mall, the Bay City Mall, and the Midland Mall. And you look up those videos if you want. I don't have the links here, but look them up. And watch those videos. That's my choices, and it's bleak. Again, it's funny. At one time, I had to take the bus a few times back when I was married. I won't get into that situation, but anyways, I took the bus in town, and the bus is so interesting. So we do actually have a metro bus. We have a transit system, and I don't know. I don't have a current copy of the schedule and the routes, and I don't know exactly where the stops are. I think there's one right up in front of my apartment complex. It's a stop. I'm not sure. I know there's a stop at the grocery store, because people get dropped off at the grocery store a lot. So I could go there if I wanted to. Yeah, you get on the bus, and it'll take you downtown, and then you get on another bus. You can either stay downtown, which, for me, that's not... I can ride my bike downtown. It's not that far. But if you want to take the bus there, you can take the bus across to the other side of to the mall area. But it's funny, the Walmart. So Walmart was one of the stops on the bridge, or on the bus that we'd go to, and just the people in Bay City, especially the people that take the bus, are pretty interesting people. Now, if you live in a big city, and you have mass transit system, it's everybody. You've got rich people, you've got poor people, you've got young people, you've got everybody, because nobody really wants to drive in a big city, so that's not a good barometer. Try going on a bus, like in the not rural, super rural area, but like this, go to a small city that's pretty much surrounded by farms and nothing, and there's three small cities all in as close proximity to each other in there, but they're all surrounded by literally nothing, like cornfields. Corn's the big thing out here. Cornfields and sugar beets and corn. There's nothing. Like if you go out of the town to get to the highway, you're going to be driving across cornfields and sugar beet fields until you get to the highway. And then if you go to the next city over, again, you're going to be going across farmland to get to the next one. So go to a place like that, and then go to one of those small cities and take their bus system. And especially I would assume that most cities like that are at kind of the same situation as these Tri-County areas. There's a certain, it's not like poor, like inner city poor, but it is definitely not. It's like low. It's like me. It's low collar, low class, some mid class, not a lot of them, but a lot of low class, mid class, and people in poverty. I mean, and like I said, I think last time I checked the demographics, this was a while ago, I was looking up demographics, 60% of my hometown, I keep calling my hometown, just 60% of the town I live in is on some form of disability for some reason. Either they have a physical handicap, most of them are mental handicaps, and you get a lot of interesting people. So take that, and you take low income, no income people, a lot of people are really, playing the system and on all kinds of assistance. They live in assisted housing. They've got, they got that Obama phone. That's the one thing. I don't know if they still exist, but back when I was taking the bus, it was during Obama's administration. I remember this guy, and it's by a guy in the very, very loud, black guy on the bus, and he's sitting next to me or behind me or whatever. And he is just, he's just talking, he likes to talk to people, obviously. He likes to talk to everybody. He's not one of those, gets this close to you kind of guys, but he's very, his presence is known. And he would be on the bus, I think most of the time I was going for my bus drive. And you know where he was going every day? Just going to Walmart. He was in the same situation I'm talking about. Just going to Walmart, get a cup of coffee, hang out at Walmart, go sit at the subway at Walmart, go walk around Walmart, get back on the bus, and then come back to his government, not assisted living, it was the government, what do you call it? It's not assisted living, government assistance living, I guess is what you call it. I can't remember what the name of it is. Something I can't qualify for. Well, maybe I could qualify for it now, but I couldn't at the time. Couldn't qualify to get in there. But anyways, he lived in there, and or he could be on the bus, and he was just always talking about, he got this new Obama phone. I got my Obama phone. Got this Obama phone, and he was just going off about how he's like, I never had one of these phones before. I got my Obama phone. Just go off. Like I said, that in and of itself, just riding the bus was entertaining. And, you're around people. Even if they're odd people, you're around people, and, and it was entertaining. But again, just like him, where are you going to go? You're going to go over to Walmart, walk around Walmart, maybe have a sub at Subway, and then just get back on the bus and come home. There's nowhere else to go. Because the mall across the street from Walmart, there's nothing there. There's literally nothing there. There's a Spencer's, there's a GameStop, there's I don't even know if there's an Anchor store left. There might be. I know Yonkers gone, Sears is gone, Target's gone, Penny's, I believe, I don't think there's even an Anchor. Ollie's is the Anchor. Ollie's and PetSmart are the two Anchor stores. Now, a mall is bad when your two Anchor stores are Ollie's and PetSmart. I don't know how I guess people really love their pets. Like PetSmart. PetSmart seems to be doing okay. But yeah, it's just, you walk around, it's like, I'm not, I guess Ollie's been kind of fun. Look at some cheap, the cheap action figures and stuff. Like I said, a lot of the stuff that is, I was watching some videos of people talking about the action figure situation at Ollie's. It's just insane. It's how much good stuff is going there for pennies on the dollar. That'd be interest me. I'd like to do that at some point. I've got to, but yeah, sorry. I was just thinking, I have to go to my bank here very shortly because I have to fill out somebody compromised my debit card over the weekend. Of course they did. Why wouldn't they? And here's the thing, I think it has to do with Discogs. Well, again, remember, I made the video on Discogs where I was praising Discogs. I'm turning on a dime. I don't know. I mean, most people be like, it's just an isolated situation, don't worry about it. It's actually gotten me to where I do not want to deal, I'm not going to order from Discogs again, just because of this one situation that's totally inconvenienced me as far as, like I said, and then at a very terrible time financially has inconvenienced me. So now I got to wait for a new debit card. I mean, I can go to the bank and draw money out, but I mean, I can't use my debit card right now. I can't even order off Amazon right now if I wanted to. Because I don't think you can put in your checking account. And some of my bills have to change over to my checking account instead of on the debit card. So that's a pain in the neck. But hopefully it's fixed here within a week, and I got the new card and got the new PIN and all that stuff. And now I got just another PIN I've got to memorize now. It's like it's taken me like 5 years to remember one PIN because I had to change my PIN 5 years ago for some dumb reason. And now I have to learn to change another, learn another PIN, remember it. Oh, God. Anyways, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's inconvenience and it kind of pisses me off, but at the end of the day, it's nothing, it's not really that big of a deal. But I got to do it. So I got to go into the bank to actually fill out this form. They got it pending, or it's on hold right now until it's resolved, but I have to go fill out the form before they can resolve it. So I got to do that at some point. And again, the bank's not that far. I've been a little bit farther than the grocery store, but I can get to the bank on my bike. But yeah, I mean, like I said, going downtown. What's downtown? Well, in the summer it's not bad because you can sit on the river, sit by the river. And in the evening there's things to do downtown. There's bands. You can go see like a lot of tribute bands at the amphitheater downtown in the park. You can go people. I love to people watch, and you can go people watch. And there's things to do, but I miss, that when you would like when nighttime was coming or evening was coming, and you would, you'd go and you'd take a shower, and you'd get cleaned up, and you'd put on some clean clothes, and not really get dressed up. You just make yourself somewhat, unlike myself right now, make yourself somewhat presentable to other human beings. And you would, and you were like, oh, I want to go here, I'm going to go to this place. Let's say it's the mall, and it's like, hey, then we'll go see a movie while we're there at the mall, or which you can do at this movie theater. But what are movies like $20 now to see a movie? And there's nothing I care to see. Back in the 80s and the late 80s, I mean, there were so many good movies to see. It seems like there was something to see every week, which I did. I went like every week. But yeah, there's nothing to see at the movie theater. It's weird. It's like I'm not a senior citizen. Obviously, I'm 50. I mean, I've got 10 years. Well, technically, I guess 15 until I'm considered 65 and older. But I've got some time. But it's funny when some people of the family used to know, are senior citizens, and they'd talk about going up to the mall. That one mall that I'd go to is like, oh, I'm going to go hang out at the mall. And they just like to sit there. They like to go there because it's air conditioned. They didn't have air conditioning. I'm going to go sit up in the air, get that sweet air, get myself a senior citizen's coffee, sit up in that sweet air, and just sit there. If you go to malls, you'll see a bunch of old guys, go up and playing chess and stuff. I don't do that. They used to do that at a mall here. They don't do that anymore. I don't know where old guys go and play chess anymore. I'm not at that age. I'm not old guy playing chess age yet. I'll get there, but I'm not there yet. Yeah, there's just not a lot of things to do to go socialize with people. I mean, and the couple of things that there are right now, it's just inconvenient for me to do it. Like I said, I think Wednesday nights they play Dungeons and Dragons, and sure, I could just 6 o'clock just go ride my bike down to, or I can get a lift from my ex-father-in-law. He'll give me a lift down there, and just go get go down to the game store, grab my my player's handbook and some character sheet, and go head down and some dice and go play some Dungeons and Dragons and talk to the people. I don't know. I still feel like I said, I kind of got bored of it, and it's it was fun when I was doing it, but then it became not fun. And maybe it's be fun again now that I'm kind of starved for some socialization. But so there's that to do. I mean, that's lasts like 4 hours. It's like 6 to 9, or 6 to 3 hours. Is 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they usually get out at 9:30. It's like 3.5 hours. And I'm assuming they're still doing it. I don't know. Sorry, I hear my phone ringing. Let me go answer my phone. I'll be right back. Recording in? Okay. Robocall, of course. I left my phone in the other room and I could hear it ringing. Of course, it's just a robocall. It's nobody important. Probably somebody trying to get me to change my package on my what do we call it? Comcast cable, which we don't have Comcast cable here. So what's the point of calling me and telling me that? But yeah, so like I said, I'll make this about 45 minutes. It's got a few things I'd like to get off my chest about that whole thing again. Yeah, just going places and having nowhere to go. Like I said, as a kid, I mean, I would do this when I was young too. It's like I could get on my bike, living in the trailer park in Rochester Hills out there. I could get on my bike and I could go to Winchester Mall. I had the movie theater, I had things, I had the record store, I had the bookstore. For a time there was a toy store there. They had nice, those leather, not nice, but those leather kind of seatings out by the fountain and stuff, and places, kind of you could sit. So if you did buy something, you'd go sit in those, those couches for a little while. Nicer than the couch I had back at the trailer park, at the trailer. Go sit in those couches and and read something or look at a magazine. Oh, I loved that. I loved getting like an issue of Starlog, issue of Dragon magazine, issue of Heavy Metal, something like that, and just go sit on the couch in the mall and just look through the magazine, or get a few comic books and go sit there and read comic books sitting in those couches there. Maybe I'd go in and grab, you could go in and they weren't that expensive. It wasn't crazy expensive back then, but you'd get a pop at the movie theater for like $1. Or you could go. I think there was like a dairy place, like a ice cream place. Somewhere else you could get a pop there. I can't remember where I'd go get a pop. You go get a pop, and you'd sit down and you'd sit at the in a there with whatever you've got from the bookstore, or you didn't buy it. You just sat in the bookstore. They didn't have chairs at that one, but I didn't mind just sitting on the carpet on the floor, as a kid, and just looking through some magazines, just sitting there at the periodic. I just loved being at that magazine rack there at the bookstore and just reading the magazines. Barnes & Noble, it's not as nice. Barnes & Noble, plus our Barnes & Noble's far away. But Barnes & Noble, I don't know, I didn't like. I know they have nice, comfortable seats. That part's fine. They got the cafe. You can go sit in. That part's fine. I don't know. For some reason, just Barnes & Noble just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why. But I like those old, B. Dalton. Again, a lot of these smaller bookstores, they didn't have seating or cafes and stuff, but they were usually in a mall where you could, if you bought the stuff, you could go take it, and look through it. And then, when you're done, you throw your drink cup away and you go back, unlock your bike, get on your bike, you got your magazine, in a bag or whatever, and you'd head on home, and maybe on the way home you're like, hey, maybe I'm gonna go over to well, it was Hardee's for a while. Burger Chef had been gone for a while, but it was a Hardee's for a while. And you go over to Hardee's and get yourself a hamburger and fries, and and then go home, or you'd stop somewhere else and get yourself something. They had actually there was a party store, that was that was right outside the trailer park there, and they had like they had pizza and they had stuff like that. Like the pizza, it's already made pizza, stuff like that, pretty good. And because they were actually owned by another pizza place that was kind of close, and yeah, you could go there and get a couple of slices of pizza, breadsticks. I mean, I guess I could do that now. I got Little Caesars, which it's okay. I'm actually gonna have a Little Caesars stuffed crust or stuffed breadsticks that I got yesterday. I got 2 orders of them, so I'm gonna have one tonight for dinner. But so I guess I can go there. But Little Caesars, it's cheap, but it tastes like ass, but it's cheap. I guess the stuffed breadsticks are pretty good. The sauce. But yeah, you can go get. I would go get that, and I would go home. And it was a school night. Of course I wouldn't do my homework because I never did my homework. But it was a school night. I'd sit home and I'd watch some TV, or I'd do some drawing, play some guitar, and go to school the next day. That's the other thing I want to mention too about not having something to do. I'll just touch on this, but maybe I'll do a video into it itself. Is being able to stream things or be able to watch things online is great, right? And I kind of even ran into this back when VCRs became a thing. Is if something wasn't on at a scheduled time, right, and you could watch it whenever you wanted to at your leisure, I found I didn't like to watch it. So it's like I can watch this anytime, right? I don't feel like watching it right now. And then a couple of days go by and you're like, oh, I never watched it because I wasn't in the mood. But if you're gonna miss it, if you don't watch it, you got to watch it when you watch it. And I mean, even like when the Ahsoka show was on just recently, it was on, what was it, Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights? It would air at like 9 o'clock. You could stream it on Disney Plus at 9 o'clock, and I would set that 9 o'clock as in like that's the time it's on, right? As in, sure, I could watch it the next day. I could watch it after 9 o'clock, whatever, right? But if I missed it at 9 o'clock, I probably would be less, I'd be less willing to watch it later because, but it's like, oh, I gotta watch it. It's at 9 o'clock, and so I loved going and sitting down and grabbing some chips and a pop or something and sitting in the chair and turning on my TV out in the living room and turning on Disney Plus and sit back and watch, watch the. It was that great, but it was something that was on at a specific time. It made me like I got to do this at this time, right? I liked that back then as a kid. It's like, oh, I want to get home tonight and watch, fill in the blank TV show, if it was the 80s. Or even into the 90s. Oh, I want to go. The new X-Files is on tonight. Got to get home and watch that new X-Files. I loved that. Or Saturday night this was on, or that was on. Or, hey, I'm going to go hang out at my buddy's house and we're going to watch this together because it's on. And I loved that, And, or I wasn't really, back when I was in this hockey, it's like, oh, I can go to the bar and sit there and watch a hockey game, and get a pizza, a beer, and, smoke a few cigarettes because you could smoke inside back then. And go watch a hockey game at the bar. That when there was other people watching the game too, when somebody scores, the whole bar goes crazy. I mean, that was fun. Nowadays to do that, it's like, that's going to cost me like $50. Because it's, if I go to like, even to go to like I don't like B-dubs or whatever, Buffalo Wild Wings, but and that's also way farther away. I could go there. I'm not really into sports anymore, so I could care less about the games anymore, but if I wanted to, I guess I could do that. But I'm going to spend probably, I can't really drink anymore because I got acid reflux, so I'm going to sit there and drink refills on pops for, drink 3 or 4 pops, and then I'll probably end up throwing up those in the middle of the night just because it plays, even all that carbonation plays hell on my acid reflux. So really, and then I'm going to go get whatever, I'm probably going to spend $25 in frickin', deep fried bullshit, and then and sit there and watch a game, with my beer and stuff. It's just like, I mean, it sounds sort of appealing, not by yourself. It would be fun if I had somebody to do it with. My son doesn't care about that stuff. I mean, he would go, and in the end, I take my son, I'm spending twice as much money because we got to get twice as much food. It's you know, for what, a couple of hours, 3 hours, whatever, how long a game is, the entertainment there. It's just like, you know, you're talking, for one thing, my son wouldn't sit there for 3 hours and watch a game, but let's just say I did it by myself. I'm probably going to spend $50, you know, leave a tip and all that stuff. It's just like, yeah, I can't afford to do that. You know, so that's kind of out. Yeah, again, I guess some of the stuff is, I mean, some of the stuff, yes, there are things you can do if you have money, but there used to be, and it just seems like there was lots of places I could go, just when I was a kid, when I didn't have any money and had no car, kind of in that situation. I feel like a kid now again. I feel like I'm in my teen years again. I feel like it's 1986, 1985, 1986 right now. You know, I got to ride my bike to the store, you know, and I got to, you know, scrounge for money. It's not that bad, but it's gotten pretty bad for money. I mean, got a few bucks I could spend, but I can't go out and drop $50 on dinner. You know, I could go drop, you know, I could go to Little Caesars and buy 2 orders of, you know, stuffed crazy bread for $3.50 a piece and pay $8 with tax. You know, it gives me 2 meals. I can afford that. You know, but yeah, it's yeah. I guess there's certain things. Yes, if you had money, you could do certain things. You know, the other thing is the other thing is weird too is like being. Also, be my closing thought. So, like being a kid, I didn't. This is why, you know, I always thought it was weird. It's like, I'm so, you know. It's not that my friend says you weren't a pretty child. So to some extent that's true. I wasn't a pretty child. So nobody wanted to abduct me or kidnap me as a kid, you know. But I'd go everywhere. You know, I'd be 13, 12, 11, 12, 13 years old. I ride my bike everywhere. Never had I mean, outside of getting hit by a car, I had no care in the world that anybody's going to kidnap. This is like in the late 80s, mid 80s, when, like, you know, the Oakland County child murder was around, you know, and like people were getting nabbed left and right back then. It was not I think 1987, I think, was the highest crime rate in the U.S. history. It was in 1987. You know, I had no care in the world. I'd go all over the place and not, you know, didn't have to worry anything because I wasn't a pretty. Nobody wanted to abduct me. But at the same time, you know, also nobody really bothered me, or nobody even really knew I was there. I was kind of invisible to older kids, because there's always just some young, you know, junior high kid, you know, out on his bike. You know, they didn't really bother me, and you know, which changed as I got older. Then they bother you, but they didn't bother me when I was that young. You know, it wasn't like you were out, you know, nobody kind of knew I was there. I was just kind of in the background. I mean, there's so many things I could have gotten away with as a kid just because nobody paid attention to me being there. And I kind of feel like that now, but as an adult, where it's like you go there, it's like nobody smiles at you. Nobody, you know, people that they're not really friendly to you. You're just kind of there, unless you have to deal with somebody like the person who rings you up or something, and they're kind of pinned. You know, they have to deal with you. You know, there's nobody really pays attention to you. You know, it's like you're invisible. You know, so it's weird as an adult being, you know, well, especially as a middle-aged adult. You know, at 50. Like I said, I that's why I don't really give a rat's ass what I wear, you know, or you know, I don't try not to look like a complete slob when I'm out, but I mean, nobody cares. Nobody pays attention to me anyways. Why would I worry about what kind of clothes I'm wearing? You know, as long as I'm wearing clothes and I'm, you know, and I don't smell god awful, you know, if I have to stand next to somebody for 5 minutes, you know, I don't smell like death. Really, I don't really put much care into my appearance because there's just no point in it. Nobody pays attention to you. So, yeah, I guess I could go off on videos and stuff on being a 50-year-old dude in the United States in a you know, small town, and just telling you how weird it is how the how your existence is just strange. Like I said, it's surreal. It's almost like you're living in a simulation. You're like, is everything right? Even though I didn't know what that term meant because it didn't exist back when I was a teenager, but I kind of felt like that too. It's just like until like you like, oh shit, I almost get hit by a car. Then it'd wake you up, right? Otherwise, you felt like you were in a dream. It's like or if you just fell down, hurt yourself, then wake you up. But you almost felt like you were in like dream state. You're just walking around like going, and that was sober, sober kid, and that's does a sober adult too. Maybe I need to start smoking some pot. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, let's end this video here. So that was my videos. I gotta come up with a title. I don't know exactly what I'll come up with. Obviously, you know what it is because I've come up with the title by now, and I'll post this. I'll post it this evening, and then I probably won't make another video. I might make one tomorrow, but I probably won't post it till Wednesday. Like I said, I'm gonna go down to like 3 days a week of posting videos. Until I've got more to talk about. I guess I could talk about this forever. I could just sit there and rattle on, ad nauseum about all the things that piss me off. Maybe that's entertaining. Maybe you want to hear that. Maybe you can relate to it. Like again, it's all about starting a dialogue with people. Just let me know. Hey, if I spell something wrong too, don't. The airplane's not going to come out of the sky. So I'm just saying that too. So, anyways, I'll let you guys go. Like and subscribe if you're on the this. So I got other videos you can watch that are older. You want to go back and watch. Or if you got if you like this stuff, like I said, you help me out by subscribing and liking, and really is no cost out of your pocket. So I don't know why you wouldn't do it. I do it all the time. I'm constantly. I've got so many subscriptions that I need to go through and clear them all because I subscribe to everybody. I watch a video, I subscribe to them. I like the video, hit like. It's that simple. So doesn't cost me a thing. It costs me 2 seconds of my time. Sure, it fills up my feed with stuff, but whatever. It's going to fill up my feed with stuff anyways. So maybe it's better that it fills up with stuff that I've actually went to their site and looked at their stuff. So do that. It'll help me out. I'm not saying it's gonna elevate me out of my current economic situation. At least not until I monetize. And even then, what's gonna make me like $10? I'll probably have 10,000 views or 10,000 subscriptions, and each video gets 10,000 views. What's that make me, like $25 a month? You could buy me some dinner. All right. So I will let you guys go, and I'll talk to you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.